Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan, the voice of the Blue Eagle. Tara na't simulan ng inyong umaga sa mga magagandang refleksyon tungkol sa ating buhay at pananampalataya. Kasama sina Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle ng Manila, Father J. Boy Gonzales at Father Nono Alfonso ng Kapisanan ni Jesus, Father Cali Llamado ng Manila Cathedral, at Binibining Risa Singson Kaupeng ng Light of Jesus Community dito sa Kapit Pandasal sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Mabangong Samyo. Ako si Risa Singson Kaupeng, book author at editor. Magkapit pandasal muna tayo. Nakaupo ako sa tabi ng bintana habang nagtatrabaho nang may naamoy akong di kaakit-akit. Ito'y usok ng sigarilyo. Sumilip ako sa labas ng bintana at wala naman akong nakitang naninigarilyo sa bakod namin. Tumingin ako sa hardin ng dalawa kong kapitbahay sa kanto at wala din akong nakita. Siguro mas malayo pa ang pinanggalingan ng usok. Hindi ko na siya makita, ngunit abot pa sa akin ang kanyang usok. Napaisip tuloy ako. Ilang beses kayang umabot sa hindi ko na alam ang simoy ng aking kilos. Ilang tao kaya ang nayamot dahil naapektuhan sila sa aking ginawa o sinabi. Mas lalong madaling isipin ang epekto ng ating mga kilos sa iba dahil dito sa pandemya. Ang ating kapabayaan o pagkamasarili ay isa sa mga dahilan kung bakit kumakalat ang COVID. Dahil ayaw nating magpapigil sa paglabas kahit hindi naman lubhang kailangan o dahil in denial tayo sa mga sintomas na ating nararamdaman, tayo nagagamit ng virus upang siya'y kumalat. Kaya't may kasabihang, no man is an island. Yan din ang sinabi ni San Pablo sa mga taga-Roma. Walang sino man sa atin ang nabubuhay o namamatay para sa kanyang sarili lamang. Naway ang simoy na nagmumula sa ating buhay ay magbigay buhay sa ibang nakakalanghap nito. Tayo magdasal. Jesus, gamitin niyo ako bilang mabangong samyo ng insensong hinahandog niyo sa Diyos at nalalanghap ng mga iba. Amen.
The voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan 87.9. Ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon, makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang simbahang lingkod ng bayan, ang Social-Political Apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kuwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo-Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan.
Magandang umaga. Good morning to all our Katipuneros and welcome to our episode of Kuwentuhang Bayan this Friday morning, February 19th, the first Friday of Lent. And once again, we welcome all our viewers. We are live right now and we will be talking about this morning. Sorry, we will be speaking mostly in English because of our international guests. We will be talking about the political crisis that is going on now in Myanmar. Brother Bok, let us welcome our viewers this morning.
Magandang umaga po sa lahat ng tagapakinig ng ating programa ngayong umagang ito. Tama no, Brother Ed, it's a very important subject to be able to discuss. It's not directly concerning the Philippines, pero alam natin na bahagi rin ng kasaysayan natin ang mga pagkilos na ito na nangyayari ngayon sa bansa nila. At we are so privileged that we have two of our Jesuit brothers to share their knowledge and experience with us.
Ayun, thank you, Brother Bok. And maybe at this point, we would just like to, before we go on to introduce our guests this morning, we just want to plug one of the events of radyo-katipunan for tonight. They will have an episode, I think it's at 8 p.m., the Via Crucis. You can watch it live here at the radyo-katipunan FB page. It's airing, I think, every Wednesday and Friday. It started last Ash Wednesday until Holy Week. So watch for those short reflections that we will offer as we contemplate the way of the cross during this season. But at this point, we welcome once again our guests from the Arupe International Residence. We have two Jesuit scholastics from Myanmar, Brother Bosco and Brother Joseph. Welcome. Maybe
Thank
Brother
you.
Bosco, you can introduce yourself first, just a little bit about yourself to our viewers. You can greet them online, live right now. No? They're watching us on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, and thank you very much for having us in this program. And I am Brother Bosco, or Brother Thang Pi from Myanmar.
Online.
And currently I am studying, I am doing my theological studies at Loyola School of Theology and residing in Arupe International Residence in Ateneo campus. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, ayan. Thank you, Brother Bosco. He's actually one of my batchmates, no, in Arupe International Residence. Now, let's welcome the other Jesuit brother from Myanmar who's joining us, Brother Joseph. Maybe you'd like to greet our viewers and introduce yourself.
Okay, hello everyone. Yeah, I am Joseph from Myanmar, and also I'm study theology here in the second year and reside in International Resident, Arupe International Resident. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Brother Joseph. And maybe as we start talking about the situation of the political crisis of the coup in Myanmar, I'm sure a good number of our viewers have seen the news or even watched videos of it, no? Whether on social media or on TV. Brother Bok, what are your impressions or what bits of info have you received about this coup that's going on in Myanmar right now?
Actually, Brother Ed, no, it appears parang we were all surprised by the developments, no, that happened in Myanmar, and it came really sudden, expected the coup to happen, and everyone was caught unaware of it. And somehow it brings, for me personally, it brings a lot of our own memories of our own experience here in the Philippines, no? Of how we've also gone through a lot of these political crises in the past, no? Where the constitution was threatened, no? How others and the military and all other politicians and groups um, violated some of these provisions of the constitution. So parang it's similar to what has happened to us in the Philippines, no? But I'm sure that our brothers can also explain, no, what brought about this event and what it means to them, no, especially now that they're still trying to make sense of it and trying to assert the liberties, no, of the people of Myanmar.
Okay, nako, thank you, Brother Bok. I agree that this whole event right now is not a totally strange event to some of us, partly because even here, in Philippine history, we've also experienced that. And you mentioned it caught you by surprise. I wonder if our Myanmarese or Burmese brothers felt that way also. Maybe either Brother Bosco or Brother Joseph can tell us, did the coup really catch you? Did it really surprise you given the political situation in Myanmar? Anyone, Brother Bosco or Brother Joseph, wants to answer that? Yes, Brother Bosco?
Yes. Yeah. Really, it was. Um, how I am trying to find the word to describe really to how to say it. It's really unexpected. It's too weak to say. Really a shock, and it's really now it's turning into a nightmare that we after this so so-called civilian democratic government having that for almost a decade, half was quasi civilian government that out of a sudden that on February 1 that we were, of course it was when it really happened, we are aware that in the morning of that at midnight of February 1 that this military coup happened, and they raided like um, the president and state councilor, and it was yeah, it was unimaginable that now we are in no time in time of in a period of days that we are really struggling. The people are now it's really saddening and shocking to see how people in Myanmar trying to voice out their concern, their desires, and it happened that really it's in 2020 last year, in November, there was a general elections, and it is pretty much yeah related to this, and also a lot of it's of course, the political landscape there is so complex, really, that there are a lot of things behind that even the political science and the analysts are struggling to picture it, to figure it out, So, yeah, that we right now we are personally, what I feel is really that yeah, I feel shocked and really saddened that on out of in just a time of a few days that political landscape scape turned into this what authoritarian, all this yeah, military coup taking up and changing all this, trying to create new laws and taking up the the rights of the people to express, to yeah, just to express, to peacefully voice their desires, on the streets. And there is no proper uh, protection. There is no really safety for them, and that is really a sad thing for yeah, uh, for me. And it really affects me so much that during these days also, of course, we have began our second semester for these studies, but yeah, most of the thinking, the yeah, thing is preoccupied by this, so much influenced by this happening. So that is from my how I feel, how it affects me. And maybe Tangha can also, Brother Joseph can also share some more, and later we can talk what really happens, and so much to really to talk. And again, it's a good opportunity for us to be invited here and to share some information to the listeners, the audience of this Radio Katipunan. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Bosco. It's really saddening news, no, that swift military takeover happening. I've heard news how several raids were made immediately with to the houses, the homes of different government officials, and right now people are taking it to the streets,
Yes.
partly because expressing dismay for what has happened. Maybe Brother Joseph can also tell us how this news has affected you, how things have also been for you during the past days. It's almost 3 weeks, no, since the coup started.
Yes, for me also the same thing. Really unexpected one. It was shocking when I read the first news. I couldn't believe my eyes. What happened? What is happening in Myanmar? It also one for me disappointed, sad, and overwhelmed by these feelings until now. From the first February to until now, the struggle of the people. And yeah, mostly I end up reading and watching on the Facebook, on this live streaming, what is going on there, and most about the yeah, really, I think my life here, even though I'm staying abroad, really influenced by this event. But for me also, I think that is not really the news that we experience now, the leadership in Myanmar that Brother Bob mentioned also, like similar ones, like in here in the Philippines also in time of Marcos, we experience like that. And for me also, I think I have the feelings that for many years we experience this kind of dictatorship because of those things. No one wants to go back those experience, and that's the feeling that one immediately come up with kind of disappoint that, and also sad feelings about what is happening in Myanmar. So for me, also until now, it's really difficult to accept and really influence my life here, or especially in the study, also especially online. When I open online, I'm probably to go to the media and listen all those what is happening in Myanmar now. Yeah, that's a really shocking experience that we are having in Myanmar.
Thank you so much, Brother Joseph. Again, it's really there's so much shock, and then I know this situation has distressed a lot of people, and I can only imagine maybe the stress you're experiencing right now. You're very much concerned with what's going on in your country and your nation. You're far from home, and then we're in the middle of studies here. Uh, we were also joined this morning by one of our co-hosts, Brother Carlo Lakang, has just stepped into the room.
Morning,
Just
everyone.
like all of us here, he just came from his class. That's why he just joined us. Um, Maybe it seems like Brother Bok has a question for Brother Joseph and for Brother Bosco. But before that question, we just like to shout out. People are greeting on the page. A shout out to Les Mendiola and to Luz Biminda Bicedo. Magandang umaga po and thank you for joining us.
Yes,
Brother Bok,
Brother
you have a
Ed.
question?
Actually, I'm interested to learn about how the military has exercised their power, you know, in the throughout the history of Myanmar. It seems that they exert a lot of influence, no, in the country, and they hold a lot of power. And this exercise of overthrowing the civil government, of not honoring the constitution, is again a manifestation of that power of the military. And somehow, I'm not sure if it is something that the people of Myanmar has really just accepted, or how do they try to manage that, no? And still being able to establish and affirm their democratic ideals as well, no? So either Brother Joseph or Brother Bosco can enlighten us, no, perhaps about that.
Yes. Okay. I would say something, and maybe Brother Joseph can add later on also that yeah, about the how this how come this military, become so influential in the political landscape of Myanmar, and the this is really pretty much a long they have the military in Myanmar plays a very influential and powerful position in the history of especially after since in our independence. We gained independence from British in 1948. That in fact our main or the national heroes, of the independent leaders that we would call, that who is in fact he was a general, military general, General Aung San. And he was in fact he was the father of our detained leader Aung San Suu Kyi. So she's the daughter, one of the children of General Aung San. So, and it was during the British colonial colony, the General Aung San was one of the leading figures, along with other ethnic leaders that in fact, okay, let's say now just introduction also that about Myanmar. We have this biggest, the major 8 ethnic groups in Myanmar, and this during the struggle for independence, General Aung San went around and trying to negotiate with the leaders of the ethnic groups, the major ethnic groups, and promising that if we gain independence as one and as a country, that we will be equal, we will share um, the same opportunity, for example, for leading the country, becoming the presidents in turn, and so on and so forth. There are several agreements that basically equality, justice, and for this right now what we are saying, this federal federal democracy. So then it turned out that General Aung San was assassinated just before weekend in 1947, and we gained independence in 1948, and those promise and agreements were never really realized. In fact, they were not, just like they were left in the air and nobody talked. And after the government, after independence, there was a civilian government for a very short time period, and because of the there were since then there were all these conflicts going on. This because the agreement that was made before the um, independence was not respected, was not actualized. So because of that, the other ethnic leaders, um, they protest in different ways, and for that, the government was also not the successful to organize, to unify together, to come together again. And that was the chance for this at that time General Ne Win, that the coming up with this taking government, what is that, the solidifying, unifying government, they called protecting, no? So safeguarding government, and they came in, and since like in 1960s, just a decade after our independence. So because since then the military, they took charge, and they expel the foreigners, the missionaries, the schools. They practice the closed door policy, that isolate themselves, then act at their own will. So really, since then, that is how the military gained power in Myanmar. The recent history of Myanmar, that they are saying that they are protecting, they are serving, safeguarding the sovereignty of the country, and so on and so forth. That, in fact, that did not really succeed. In fact, since then, the armed conflict in Myanmar went on until now. So particularly until now, and of course the military is also claiming that they are needed. Of course, when there is a unrest, there is a arms conflict, they are the one. They say they make their presence legitimate, that you need us, and so on and so forth. So because of that, they gained a very powerful position the recent political history of Myanmar. Maybe Tangha can, Brother Joseph can say some more if there is.
Yeah, I think you already mentioned all the fact, but one of the things also they started the military overruling the country started in 1962 until the 2015 election of the Aung San Suu Kyi and LD, the National League for Democracy. They have a national election and took over. So there had been the long way, so many decades for military ruling the country. From that on, I think from the first time until during those decades, they have been using systematically to control their power, and also those who oppose them, they sometimes eliminate them, imprison them. So many they use many methods. Actually, there are many methods. And before, it was the first one, the national chaos, that when the demonstration took place in 88. Actually, it was really the black history in Myanmar, that many people got killed. The military, they use really violence and eliminate. So it's the first time that, and then most of them were arrested. And then there was a trident, many tortures. With that ones, they have been ruling the country with free, infusing fear to the public, to the people. That's why also Aung San Suu Kyi, she came up with the books, the Freedom from Fear. That one was a very famous book. That she criticized the military, saying that they ruin the country with fear, and they themselves also fear, and then also they infuse those fear also to the public, and also they systematically oppress those to maintain their power. At the same time, most of the natural resources in the country, most of the business, economic, all those are in the military and the families. They control all these things. And even when they make the 2008 constitution, they really make by themselves, and they force the people as if the people agree or the people support that constitution. So kind of it has been a kind of empty promises to restore and to give the power to the people, and it has been for many decades. So I think the way they control their power and their policies, most of the people they know is now. So now this not we are facing the same military evil that imposed the dictatorship, but now is I think the difference that I think now compared to the 88, now we know their strategy, we know their most of their planning like before. They are also doing like before also, something like that.
Okay, thank you, Brother Joseph. It seems that Myanmar has still been trying to recover and really form their civilian government because of the long-standing military rule. Uh, and even it seems this isn't the first time, no? Based on what I've heard, that the military took on such a drastic measure of taking over the government and taking power from the people. Uh, Maybe Brother Carlo has something to ask for our two brothers here from Myanmar.
Yes. First of all, I would like to say sorry for missing the first part of the show. I came from a class, and I think um, Brother Bob and Brother Ed have expressed um, our solidarity and sense of closeness to both Brother Tangha and Brother Bosco and to the people of Myanmar, for what they're going through. The Filipinos know how it is to demand for democracy, to fight for our rights. So we know how it feels, and I think we can say that we are one with you. And we share with you the hopes of a peaceful resolution to this conflict. I can only imagine how difficult it is for both Jesuit scholastics to be far away from home at this very difficult time of Myanmar's history. And I know for a fact that one of them, who's not here, uh, continues to connect with his friends and relatives in Myanmar, I think daily or every week, asking how they are and forming prayer circles with them so as to strengthen them and accompany them in their own struggles at home. So my question to either of the brothers is, what ministry or what help are the Jesuits in Myanmar offering to the people who are at the front lines of this demonstration? Of course, there are things we cannot say and things we can say, but what are things we can say about the interventions the Jesuits there are doing in terms of accompaniment? It might be helpful to note that Myanmar, as a place for mission, is close to the heart of the Philippine province of the Society of Jesus, because we're having our sites to that mission area, di ba? Brother Ed, Brother Bo, as a future parang, um, locus of our ministry. So we also are very, very, how do you call that, interested to know what the Jesuits there are doing and how we, perhaps Jesuits in the Philippines, can also make little contributions to the ministry you're doing there. Brother?
Yes, thank you, brother Carlo, for your words of support and being close to us, and also for your questions that what the Society of Jesus in Myanmar is doing, what we are contributing. It might be it might be better, proper to say it in because we are really there. Jesuit, we are still in a Jesuit mission, so we are pretty much. In fact, all of us, all the locals Jesuits, are in formation in different stages of formation, and we are doing all in formation. And we our commitment, one of our priorities is also that we serve the local church and we are one with the local church. So it would be really what the church, and we are helping the church do, the church respond to this. And that would be what right now what we directly do, the brothers, our Jesuit brothers there, priests and scholastics and regents, helping us to, yeah, anything that of course we cannot really say it in a way that we do this, but we try to support. We certainly we are one, we are among, and we are one with them. One each of us hurts. We feel the pain, and uh, um, um, brother, a Jesuit priest, young priest of one of us, was in fact involved pretty much in the street protests and joining force with this medical team, the ambulance, emergency teams, and so on and so forth. And also there's another initiative from the youth, the what also organized by another Jesuits and group, a team of Jesuits also, that to give this first aid. No, there's maybe I think you might have seen in the Facebook also that what the Magis medical team. So that's also how we in a in the given limitation of our numbers, our personnel, and our resources, we try to really support, participate, and voice our people, the struggles for this. We don't we want to show it clearly that we don't want this yeah, unlawfulness to gain to gain power again, to come into power, because the, we have been under this more than 5-6 decades, and we don't want to return to that, certainly. And of course, right now also the demonstrations, these protests, and all these different movements. One of the strongest, the most effective, and yeah, the one that really threatens the these military leaders of the military coup is really this civil disobedience movement that encouraging uh, civil servants, the officials from different departments of the state, that not to obey. They are not obliged to obey this unlawful and this forceful military government. They are not obliged. They are free. In fact, if they don't work for them, they are in fact supporting saving the country. So this is one of the movements that really is gaining momentum. And also the youth, especially this so-called Generation Z or Generation Z, and also combination of this Generation X, Y, Z. So these are the youth are really the one coming up, voicing up. And this is a different time. So in fact, there's also another poster, very common, very popular, is that you are messing with the wrong generation. So learn from that, and so on and so forth. So this really, in fact, and as I shared, it is saddening. It is really a shock. At the same time, I feel that I find some hope. I feel hopeful, especially when we come together as one. That is, there is so much strength, so much hope, so much power. That is the sign of the power of the people power, or the power of the people when we come together. And this is what I see, and what keeps me hopeful. And as part, firstly, as citizens, and citizens of my country, that I have the responsibility, I have the right and the responsibility to stand up for my country, for my future, for the present, for the present generation, for the future generation. That so that is how we really act as our given limitation, and yet we try our best. We try to support. We try to participate. That we are one. We will fight. We will fight for the freedom, for peace, and for justice. Maybe Brother Joseph can say something.
Yeah, thank you also, Brother Caro, and all our Jesuit brothers also supporting us during this difficult situation. Yeah, our response during this situation, Bosco already mentioned most of them. As a Jesuit, we have only a few local Jesuits, and we couldn't do much there. But in generally, the Myanmar, we are also the Jesuit under the church. So as the church now, they're coming up, there as a different parishes, they organize and go around, say rosary. But some religious congregation also, they on the God, they say night adoration, or the like online streaming, praying for Myanmar, and at the same time also going for action and going on the street. They have been doing that, and from the general or cardinal, I mean the Cardinal Charles Bo, even at the beginnings, of the maybe February, that he already made a statement, and coming up to look for the solutions. They're saying that dialogue is the only solutions to this problem, and this problem also happened because of we have lack of dialogue and all this. We have a lot of courage to support from the leader, but at the same time also that church leaders seems also a little bit afraid. Of course, all of us also afraid. Somehow the CBCM, the bishop, they make like a Zoom meeting. They met and they make also some statement just a few days ago. And actually, it really also a little bit discouraged also for the faithful and also for religious, saying that the religious, especially the brothers and sisters, they should not go out with their headbeats or cassock, wearing cassock in the public area, and kind of a little bit restricting the movement of the church a little bit. But somehow, even though they support for not to go against for this military corps and then fighting for democracy and all the state really support, but somehow a little bit restricting. That's also for me. I myself feel a little bit discouraged by this their statement. But somehow, in general, there are a lot of the faithful. There we the Jesuit also with among the people going around and ready to serve them if they need the people, especially the medical team. Yeah, I think we're really with the people at the moment, and yeah, we are hoping that it will be our victory to defeat them. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brother Bosco and Brother Joseph. And it's very consoling to hear how people, different groups, different sectors in society are coming together and really finding a way to be able to respond creatively in a non-violent manner to what is going on. I do agree that this is an opportune time really to also show that this crisis can be overcome, not by the very means that the crisis has started, no, with violence and lack of democratic dialogue. Uh, Brother Bok just unmuted himself. I'm guessing he has a question or a comment you'd want to share with our viewers and with our
Actually, I'm
listeners.
so consoled, Brother Ed, by the showing of how, especially the young people of Myanmar, have really stood against this abuse of power, and how they would want to restore the government and their constitution, and then affirm their democratic ideals. Brother Joseph, I think, would also like to explain, because again, in throughout the history of Myanmar, this is not actually the first time that it has happened to the country,
Mhm.
but there's a distinct difference with this particular coup from what happened in 1988 in the 80s. So perhaps you can quickly and briefly explain that, why this is very different from what happened in the past. And perhaps that can also give us a way towards how this can be addressed, also the problem. What issues must be addressed by the people of Myanmar, the military, and the civil government. That the church in Myanmar has already appealed for dialogue, so that there can be understanding, and these issues can be resolved.
Yes, thank you for the question. I think that the main difference is, before we experienced to make 88, we call 88 events that at the time, most of the leaders were the university students, and the elders. The other just follow the public, they just follow. So in terms of communication also, they couldn't communicate to one another, because that we did not have yet phone like today. So that this communication differences is the biggest the differences, the first one. And then nowadays they also, as you mentioned also, now that the youths are taking control of this one, and so we are generation Z, and they really actually they study different countries, events, political situations. So what happened in Hong Kong, what happened in other areas, they already study and they know. So that in which approach we should go in go against the militaries. Actually, as if they are leading also the people, not instruct them, okay, you should do this and you should not do that, or something like that. But in 88, it was really widely suppressed by the militaries, and ending up killings and controlling, arresting people. but the world did not know or immediately at the time. Now the difference is also now social media. You know that what happened today, this morning, even I can see that I can watch from Facebook. They make a live streaming, and immediately the world knows. And then now we are also try. The world also know that what they have been using the methods and from 88 until now. For example, the releasing the prisoners, more than 2,000 prisoners, and then to make actually. The reason is to make peace and something like that. They make a pseudo reasons, but actually, so to make chaos. Actually, the people realize that, for example, some people they trying to burn the houses. They arrested and investigate, and then it's sent by the military from the prisoner. They will inject the drug so that they cannot even consciously do their jobs. So they place in different places. They really evil planning they are doing. It has been before also until now, but now that we know clearly through the videos and live streaming, it's very clear. And then also even yesterday, yesterday morning I was watching in Myanmar. They are really majority are Buddhists, so they really respect the monk. Yesterday, what happened was that the prisoners, they just changed their robe and then acting like a monk and not beating the people, beating the car, they destroy the car mirrors and all, making violence, a lot of things. So really, we are discovering their methods slowly and then now, what really affected for us and the only hopes that we have as a public is the people are extremely united. For example, when the people, the soldiers and the police go and arrested the people without any papers and they just brutally arrested. But the people, they inform their neighbors and the people protect their neighbors. And they did secure because they cannot trust any police or any soldiers. So they really, even though they have different backgrounds, they really comes together. It's really amazing for me. And now what they are doing is like we call public, we call the civil disobedience movement. So CDM. This CDM is, I think, the only hopes that we have, and more people are joining these CDMs and not walking. Yes, it's also use of 3 fingers, also not like that. And then another signs also now so bending pots. Also at night, at night maybe 8 o'clock, so they bend the pots together and they feel their angers, their disapproval of this militaries. So now what I see is like yesterday in most of the cities, Yangon's, like a seas of people in Myanmar that come together, very organized. That's non-violence, and also they trying to express their desire, their willing, their desire for the democracy, and also trying to have international have. This also we really request international. And one good thing is because of the social media, international, even UN, and also in some Asian countries, they really, some UN actually started impose some sanction for the military, not the whole Myanmar, but the military, some economic functions and all this. And then in Asian country, especially the Indonesia and Malaysia and all, they are encouraging to talk or to discuss about Myanmar in Asian levels. And so this I think we really have hope that we will win this fighting, because the military now, if all are stopped functioning because of civil disobedience movement, I think even now they are a little bit more and more we are seeing the kind of violence and forcing them, arresting them, those who participate in this CPM movement. But somehow it will be the only hopes that we can win this military corps. Yeah. Or Bosco, want to add something?
Yes. Kang Ha has explained quite a bit already, and right now also what is going on really is the civil disobedience is gaining momentum, or in short form is CDM, and one of our most popular now, it becomes our symbol of protest against this military coup is this 3 fingers on your right hand, and there, disobedience, protest against this oppressive regime, this military coup. So we will never give up. We will fight till the end. So we must win as one. People of Myanmar, take courage. So that is what I would like to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Bosco and Brother Joseph. I'm sure the fans of Hunger Games will find that gesture very familiar. No? So just make sure when you do that gesture, it's the palm that's facing outward. Because if it's backward, it looks different already. Okay. So we'd like to once again greet some of those who've commented in our Facebook channel, Brother Rico Adapon, Kathleen Cardos, and also to Brother James Santos. Thank you for tuning in this morning, and to all our Katipuneros. And we thank again Brother Joseph and Brother Bosco for joining us this morning, and thank you for sharing uh, your insights, sharing to us updates about what's going on in Myanmar. I'm sure a good number of us would now want to follow what's going on in the news, keep ourselves updated. And I guess, particularly for us here in the Philippines, there are a lot of lessons we can learn with how the civil society groups have also managed to navigate their way through this crisis. So, once again, we thank you everyone, and we'd like to wish you all a wonderful weekend. Magandang umaga, magandang tanghali na pala, no? At maraming salamat sa pagtutok sa Kuwentuhang Bayan. Ako po si Brother Ed Colmenares.
Ako naman po si Brother Bok Arandia.
At ako naman po si Brother Carlo Lacam na nakikiisa sa mga taga-Myanmar.
Maraming salamat po at magandang tanghali sa inyong lahat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang simbahang lingkod ng bayan. Ang Socio-Political Apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kuwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa radyo-katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan.